Sir, it's going on to you. Bless you. Sir, I wanted just to brief you on a couple of things that were not discussed during the course of the briefing. And one of them being the preparations being handled right now regarding Al-Tia and Ar Rabati in terms of the upcoming operation startup. We have been doing certain things out there in terms of speaking with the particular parties out there who have been looking into things in terms of us becoming operational in those two cities. We've had modifications on how things are going to be done now. And as a consequence of said modifications, it's going to be a very fascinating ride, I'll say that. If for no other reason, we were anticipating getting on the ground those two cities and 3 others. And we were anticipating those for a while, and we've been working towards them. And again, with Tom Memphis now being brought into the mix, it's a good blessing that's been placed before us, and I'm grateful for it. But nonetheless, it's going to push back the timetable on certain things I had in mind as a consequence of having an additional area that we have to see after. An example of that, we are now going to have to acquire distillers, hydroponics operational equipment, as well as other items that will allow for local area food operations, medicine operations in terms of growth and distribution. Also, even though that might be a little bit down the line, at least having the equipment on a station is essential, and we can do that, and we are going to be doing that. We will be acquiring that equipment in particular order, kind of like how an engine fires various cylinders in a particular sequence. In this case, you're talking about areas 3, 4, 5, and 6 at that particular point, where you have to acquire the distiller equipment, establish the herbal pharmacy operations, acquire at least one Bamarston operation on the ground in every one of those areas, or quote-unquote health clinic scenario, at least a 1-bed station. We're going to be on that, and then we will proceed on to acquiring the first equipment for hydroponics in those particular areas. Then I can proceed on to other operations, including the diesel-powered generators and acquiring diesel-powered, acquiring the biodiesel processing and refining equipment. So I intend to do particular things in one particular manner, but I'm going to have to change that in accordance with the new city area we have on the ground. Now, part of that comes out of the current fiscal budget that we're operating with, directly out of operational budgets for the various departments that are going to be operational underway out there from the very beginning. A few items will come directly off of the line items component because they were processed that particular way, but I'm not quite sure we're going to be able to get them in on time before next year's fiscal budget takes effect, which is in the spring. With that being said, we have to also look into other considerations here because of new folks on the ground and various capabilities on the ground, or abilities, depending on what talents and skills our folks on the ground in those new respective cities has. There's other pressing things that the council and I are working on right now, particularly dealing with various things regarding who's going to go out and do what particular oversight and under what schedule, because I won't go into particular things now about how things are being done in terms of the training component. What I will say is that training is one thing, inspection of operations is another, and then auditing of particular things is yet another. And that's what has to be looked at now as things are being looked at for Tom Memphis as we speak. Tom Memphis is actually out the gate and moving very quickly, smartly, but quickly. And we are very pleased with what we're seeing there, and I intend to see that's well replicated in the new cities. So, Ar Rabati being further to the west than Al-Tia is, does create a little bit of a concern, because how things are being done is not within our standard protocol nor procedure regarding new area operations. It's actually slightly inverted in my view, and I won't go into the reasons as to why I say that, but I'll put it to you this way. There's nothing normal about the operations on the ground in Al-Tia nor Ar Rabati, and basically the parties on the ground in those particular cities, they're probably going to have it harder than most because the microscope's going to be on them far harder because of how things are being done. Our hands are tied with particular things, and it's because of lack of manpower to train particular parties, not to mention the fact finances are there but in limited sourcing. We have so many things that we're researching. We have so many things that we're bringing online and so much equipment that we required and are acquiring. It's a lot of work. It's a positive thing, and this is actually a good problem. I like problems like this, but it's a problem nonetheless. And although we're not in bad shape, I'm a perfectionist, and I like to have things in neat, tidy order. I like to have things in a proficient manner. And I'm not saying that we're not. It's just going to be harder to do it. And I expect no less for any area that we're operating in. I expect them to be on their post hard and strong. So these particular parties in these new city areas, Tom Memphis included, they're going to have a lot of things that they have to pay attention to, and they're going to have to be on their dean. They're going to have to be on their post, and they have to be on their hard, strong, deep, fast, and furious, because things are changing all around us, and parties are concerned. What I mean by that is you have folks who are coming into the Moors paradigm, and a lot of them are not comfortable with what they're seeing, or they're confused with what they're seeing. A lot of folks are saying, listen, I'm grateful for getting information about nationality, and it's needed, it's necessary, but my family needs more than just me information about nationality. We need a functioning nation. And as folks look around, they're looking for that which is viable. I won't sit here and say that we are the only ones that's viable, but we have a pretty firm, pretty steady track record because of our ethics, our work ethics, and I insist that we maintain that in the new areas. And when public works operations begin on the ground, various buildings have to be looked at and things of this nature. When we look at the construction of particular things or reconstruction of particular things, we need to know the lay of the land. We need to know what's going to be available to work with in terms of materials, who on the ground can be entrusted to do what in terms of those things. We have to find these things out. It's going to take a process called time. We're in it, we're on it, and we have to be there. I expect 3 T's: on task, on time, on target. I see us doing very well, but seeing it is one thing. We have to make it work. We have several parties who are watching, who have interest in what we're doing for right reasons, as well as those who are watching from a hostile position, and that's up to them. That's for them and the Creator. I don't care about that. All I know is we have work to do, and I expect us to do it and do it right. So while we are working on these things, I'm asking all of the sub-department heads to maintain good order, because the folks in new areas must maintain a steady watch, and that steady watch, they will have it because they see firm order coming from headquarters. And so with that, do you have any questions for me, sir?
Yes, sir. Not at this time.
Very good. Well, my regards to you, sir. You know I'm going to be heading south again, and I'll take your peace and Islam's down to the family down there. So with that, I thank you again for your time and your ear. Peace and love, sir.
Peace and love.